To end off the day of college football playoff games, James Madison's going to Oregon. It's 21.5-point underdogs. The over-under total in this one, I believe, is 47.5, unless that's changed, or I have that written down wrong. Oregon's coming to this one, I think the question is here, do they floor it against James Madison? Right? You got a lot of, football left to be played. And this is an Oregon team that's getting healthy here at the end of the year. This is a dang good football team built on both sides of the line of scrimmage. You love to see that. Dante Moore, great quarterback. Wide receiver was a question mark with some of the injuries. They have played really well this season. And the defense, man, it's just been so good, man. Especially the rushing attack. That run defense has been just nuclear for Oregon. And James Madison, if they're not able to run the ball, which, by the way, they couldn't against Louisville, they got manhandled on the line of scrimmage there. They will get manhandled again by this Oregon team. They will. So the question is, how is James Madison going to score points? If Oregon's running the ball, which, by the way, the rushing attack for Oregon, what running back do you want to, it doesn't matter what running back's back there because they're all averaging, over 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry. They're nuts. This Oregon team is one of the best teams in college football. And I think that they're a legitimate national title contender. The resume doesn't speak to that, having their best wins be USC and Iowa. Even though we think Iowa's a pretty decent team, but I think we can all agree that they snuck Iowa in there at the back end of the top 25 to justify, classic college football playoff committee stuff, using 16 through 25 to justify,
1 through 10,
1 through 12. So, but yeah, I can't speak for you, but I'm on Oregon minus 21.5. And also, I'll add in a best bet here as well. My best bet for this game is James Madison, team total under 13.5. I don't see how they're getting to 13.5. I don't see how they're getting to 14 points in this one. It will have to be explosive plays, which we've seen from the rushing attack, Wayne Knight. We also just haven't seen Oregon give up those explosive plays.
Yeah, Oregon has been really, really good all year, with the exception of maybe 2.5 quarters against Indiana. That's kind of where we've been at. And honestly, I will give them a ton of credit for that Iowa win. That conditions were rough. Kinnick is a tough place to play in.
Sure.
I think that's a damn good Iowa team. I think that Iowa team, yeah, I'm just going to stop there.
Should they have won that game, though?
Iowa probably should have won that game.
Yeah.
But that also hats off to Dante Moore and Malik Benson. They got some dogs there for Oregon. Hopefully getting a little bit healthy. We'll see about some of their wide receivers. Maybe getting some depth back all around and some key contributors to that team. All the more reason I think Oregon will get it done here. I will be on James Madison in terms of the cover, plus 21.5. I do think their defense is actually pretty darn good. And yes, Oregon is a machine in terms of running the football. I just think James Madison will get enough stops in the red zone, potentially enough stops on third down to keep this a close one. And by the way, too, Barnett and Wayne Knight, yes, they struggled against Louisville. It's a pretty damn good duo. I think that's a duo a lot of Power 4 teams would switch for in a heartbeat. Now, would Oregon? No.
Sure.
No, I don't think so. But I think Wayne Knight's a legit football player. People forget, too, this James Madison team a couple years ago is the same James Madison team that's number one seed in the country, right? No, I'm just playing. In terms of Indiana. But, there's a precedent there in terms of for James Madison. A lot of it's just kind of talking through my bum here. The reality is Oregon's probably going to get it done, and it'll probably be comfortable. I just think the game script is going to play out in a spot here where James Madison will get that backdoor cover, or will keep it a game long enough, and Oregon will be content with just kind of running the clock out and just praying to be healthy and get in a spot where they can go in and go play Texas Tech, because it's going to be a heck of a game too.
Classic 31-13 game.
Yeah, we've seen that model. Look what Wisconsin had. Look what happened in Wisconsin. It was 21-17.
Yeah. It's not unprecedented for Oregon to put the brakes on.
No, Northwestern 34-14. You had spots there, and that was a weird game. The wind was weird there in that makeshift stadium that Northwestern has. So I understand all that. And the last time too, we've seen the last month of the year with Oregon, other than Minnesota, which they just blew the doors off of them from start to finish.
They
just royally. It was They had to like you talk about Bud Elliott in terms of it's a safety issue. I'm a Minnesota guy, and it was a safety issue. The different level of athletes between those two teams, but like Iowa, USC, Washington, right? Those were games for a lot of that game, and obviously Oregon ended up prevailing, and they kind of took all the punches and then delivered their final blows, and obviously got a win. And the reality is, James Madison is probably worse than those three teams, but I think it's closer than you would have it be. This James Madison, to me, feels like a better team than Tulane. It's unfortunate that it's just a worse matchup. Like, I think the committee, unfortunately, because of Tulane's resume, I think you had to put them ahead of James Madison.
Sure.
But I do think James Madison's a better football team, and I would almost rather see them give it a go against Ole Miss and see what happens.
The argument would be that Ole Miss's resume, or even A&M's resume for that matter, is probably better than Oregon's. I think if the committee was to rig the matchups there, it would be putting Ole Miss probably at 5 and then Oregon at 6.
And avoiding a rematch too. How about that?
Yeah, but avoiding rematch, which they shouldn't be thinking about.
No. But
right?
No, it's not like TV ratings or any kind of money thing influences college football. That's never been an issue.
No, money does not dictate anything in the sport at all, as we've seen over the last several years, right? And Oregon will tell you that firsthand. So, but I do think that this Oregon team is phenomenal. Legitimate national title contenders. I mean, I'm looking at prop bets, and I'm like, okay, what? So can I just take the over on every backup running back that Oregon has, like everyone on there, longest rush, all of it? I agree with you. Barnett Knight, phenomenal duo right there with James Madison. And I'm not going to discredit their offensive line because they've been phenomenal against G5 teams this year. I'll just point back again to that Louisville game. Like, there was a significant difference between those two offensive lines and both sides of the line of scrimmage, I'll say, for that matter. So that's why I'm on James Madison team total under. But I can hear what you're saying, though. It is not unprecedented for Oregon to put the brakes on this thing and Dante Moore, just to run the ball with De'Aaron Hill and Davison, like whatever other running backs that you want to throw out there. I mean, Mekhi Hughes still has eligibility. I mean, even he redshirt, but he's out there. I mean, I don't know if he's actually on the roster or not still. But, I guess it's unfortunate that Oregon gets a tune-up game, in the college football playoffs. But that's where we're at right now. I think I don't want to get all college football playoff political about it. I do think James Madison, with the schedule that they had, they did as well as they could have done. And you want to reward that, Unfortunately, their reward is playing Oregon on the road, who's a phenomenal football team, an absolute buzzsaw. And I don't think that they're going to score 2 touchdowns against them.
The one hope for JMU is, especially on an offensive line, you got a bunch of guys that are either at or well above the drinking age, which is fantastic. And that goes for a lot of their key players as well. Outside of Sahir West, like the stud freshman on that defensive line for them, a lot of their best players are veteran dudes, gritty guys. The guys have been around the block. Trent Hendricks, right? Defensive player of the year in the Sun Belt. Of course, Alonzo Barnett has been there and has experience as well. And Bob Chesney, too. He's kind of a badass dude. I don't think this team for JMU is scared to go up against this Oregon team.
That's another guy, though, with a foot out the door.
Absolutely. Again, now, who do you think is more bought in right now? And this is purely speculation, yada, yada, yada. Bob Chesney right now or Will Stein and Tosh Lupoi?
Interesting.
I think Chesney's more bought in. I'm
going to go with Chesney probably, too.
Now, he has more responsibilities. Well, no, they're all head coaches. Yeah, dude, Will Stein has his hands full. Kentucky, man. His hands are full. And not to say that Bob Chesney doesn't need it. UCLA's a fucking mess as well. But I don't know. It's like, again, I hate to keep bringing it up and beating a dead horse, but the fact that we have to talk about this and the fact that this is a problem in primetime games and games that are going to decide the champion of our team or of our sport, and coaches being 1 foot out the door for in every single matchup, except the Alabama-Oklahoma. And some people will tell you that Kalen DeBoer is 1 foot out the door as well. But
it's just depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I mean, look, it's the dichotomy of it's like I love talking about it selfishly. Like I love like the storylines are just amazing. And
Yeah.
that's part of what makes college football amazing, but also the sport itself like not super healthy when you have stuff like that going on. Like I get it for bowl games and whatnot, but like we got the college football playoffs going on right here, and both coordinators for Texas A&M and both coordinators for Oregon are going to be coaching at different schools. Ole Miss's head coach is already out of there. James Madison's head coach is going to be at a different job. Tulane's head coach is going to be at a different job. It is absolute. It's it's anarchy. I mean, it's really what it is. So, but I'm still excited for this game. I'm kind of bummed out that it's the nightcap game because I think that there will probably be more competitive games being played that day, specifically ones played at 11 a.m. that day. That probably should be the nightcap game, but either way, we'll get a chance one last time, probably, barring something amazing happening. Probably the last time we get to see a lot of these James Madison players, which deserve a lot of love, because I'm sure a lot of folks that are going to be watching this game are going to be watching James Madison for the first time if they didn't watch them for the first time in the conference championship games. And I think that a lot of these players deserve a good watch. And I know some of them will be on other teams next year. Some of them will be, practice squads for the NFL. Like they're going to get their opportunities to continue playing football. A lot of them, but I am excited to see a lot of these guys for James Madison suit up one more time. Let's go.